Father, we pray for increase. God, we need you to love our territory. Bless his house today, oh God.
Let's sing the third verse. Why don't you say from hope?
Promotion. Father, we pray for promotion, God. We need you to enlarge our territory. Bless us indeed. We'll wait on it. We'll be patient.
I got power.
God.
Right, what you say? Say God. You trust us to expand.
Whoa, expand, expand us. Father, we pray for expansion, God. We need you to enlarge in our territory. Expand us, God. Lord. Bless us indeed. We'll wait right here. We'll walk in discipline. We'll walk in faithfulness. We want inspection. We want inspection. Increase us, God. Promote us, God. Stretch us to give us more. Stretch us to give us more. We honor you. We honor you. Have your way in our lives. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. Expand us, God.
Here we go. I want to welcome you to the Lion's Den. Listen, this is your favorite auntie, the spiritual thought leader. And you know how I do it. I'm telling it like it T-I-Z-Tis. If you haven't subscribed, listen, I want you to go out to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Won't you do that for me? Come on, there you go. I appreciate you. I want you to go out there and subscribe. Get yourself hooked up with us. Be sure and hit that notification button so you can know when I'm coming on. And listen, I want to thank you for joining the Lions today. I'm looking out here and listen, I see some beautiful folks in the house. I absolutely positively do. You know, I had to come in shouting, y'all. I don't know any other way to come. Listen, the old folks at my church used to say anything dead ought to be buried. We are alive and we are thriving and we are having a good time up in here. I want to appreciate you for joining the Lions today. Listen, I appreciate you. I want you to know that I do. Let me come around and say I want to mention every last one of you. Listen, here we go. Jazzy Mima. Dr. Dady, we had to kick it up a little bit. Come on, Tall Pumps, I see you in the room. Dr. Dady Priest, the high priestess, is here. And if you're not following her, y'all got to go out there and follow my sister. Listen, I'm appreciative for Jazzy Mimi, and thank you so much for resubscribing to the channel. The Bishop of Twitch, one reason is here. That's my guy. Come on, Cassandra Woke 2022. Come on in the room. I'm coming on up and I'm looking and I'm booking. And Lord have mercy, truck driver, that's my Mufasa. He is in the room. Joanna G, come on in here, sis. Nothing but mad love to you. I appreciate you for being here with us on today. Flirt, that's my girl. Come on in here, Flirt. We're gonna have a good time and we just gonna chop it up. I appreciate every last one of you. And Joanna G, you didn't waste any time getting in here tonight. I mean, you were on it. You and Flirt, I mean, y'all flew up in here. And I want to appreciate you for being in the room. I am going to just chop it up with you tonight. And listen, that's my Lions welcome right there. That's my Lions welcome right there. Come on, Joanna G. I love you guys. And you know how we do it in here. This is the way we flow in the Chop House. The Lions are here, and I appreciate every last one of you. You know, I played that. I did this little clip and made it up, and I tried to spice up and spruce up the space a little bit. And when Rebel saw it, she looked at that line on my shoulder. She said, "That is crazy." But I told her, I said, you know, I had to try to do something just a little bit different and stretch just a bit. And I hope you all are enjoying. But that's my Lions joining me, and I appreciate each and every one of you Lions that have come in to join me on this fine day. Now, listen. This is how we do it in the Chop House. I appreciate you all so much. Dalen 628, girl, you done came in the room. Thank you for joining me, sis. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you for being here. Grand evening to you. Now, as I said, I took a little time and kind of updated the studio just a bit. It was having some issues, and then, you know, we had some other things going on as far as needing to be out. Oh yes, Dalen, the hour difference. You know, I need to stipulate Central Time. I do need to stipulate Central Time. Thank you for that. You always keep me on my toes. I appreciate you. And I am so glad. I hope that you all are enjoying visiting with one another, just seeing everybody come back and have an opportunity to share together. I know I want to extend officially, I've definitely talked with my brother over and over for the last couple of weeks, but I want to officially offer our condolences. I want you all to send up the love, send up the prayers for truck driver who had death in the family. Come on in here, Murdy. Good to see you in here. Nothing but mad love to you. So y'all was stalking. I need to stipulate that it is Central Time. So my apologies on that. I need to definitely get better at doing that. Dalen always keeps me on my toes. I appreciate her, and she always. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. So definitely, I need to stipulate Central Time. As I was saying, we want to send up condolences to truck driver who had loss in his family in the time that we've been away, and so we definitely want to give him our condolences and our love. I love me some truck driver. I love that man. He is my brother. Truck, you know I love me some you. Everybody that's in here, I love each and every last one of you in such a special way. You guys have been such a blessing to me in my life, and your support and you coming and what you share is always such a blessing to me. Now, Chop House is a little bit different, even though it kind of mimics some of what we did on Yes You. I'm still, for those that are doing the Bible study, I'm going to touch on that real quickly and get that out of the way. And I don't want to say that as if it's insignificant and unimportant, but unlike the way we were doing it every day, going over the scripture, I will touch on the highlights of it. If you guys are reading through it and you have any questions or anything that you want to talk about, as I said about Chop House is designed so that we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We can talk about it. And there's nothing that's off limits. Absolutely, positively nothing. We'll talk about anything and everything. Some things I'm going to say the flow might be a little deep for just a casual somebody that's stopping in the Chop House. So I do have other platforms where we can go and get deeper in depth for those that, because I'm all about flow, but I don't want folks to drown. Flow is as I used to say before we left the air, that's my religion. And as we were talking about the way of the water and the wind, and even as we were talking about Dr. Emoto and the book that we studied in Institute for Higher Consciousness, there was so much revelation and so much information there that just blessed and transformed my life. And that's what I'm about. This is open for everybody. I hope that when you come in, your sights are set on releasing your potential and releasing your power. I named tonight's session Power and Wealth. And it may not be what a lot of people are thinking about when they think of power and wealth. Murdy, I'm going to touch on that. I absolutely hang with me, and I'm gonna touch on flow. As a matter of fact, I talked a lot. Flow is essential. The energy patterns, Dr. Dady. When you think of flow of water and of wind, is so powerful. At the Institute, we released that boss energy, absolutely tall pumps. And I know a lot of people have not been a part of, even though it's available. But a lot of individuals were not a part of Institute for Higher Consciousness, so I can understand Murdy's question, and we'll go over and touch on that. And I do have that designed to talk about on tonight, Murdy, so that's right on point. I'm gonna try to handle this one situation here real quick and take care of the money. And y'all know how I am when I self-mod. Let me see. Let me find it. But nonetheless, we'll touch on all of that because I want us to really get into the power of who we are, to walk in it, to live in it, to abide in it, not just an in and out. Flow is that mental state in which a person performing some activity is fully immersed in a feeling of energized focus. Come on with that, Dalen. And so at the end, they want to increase too. We just not increasing that way, Dr. Dady. So, as I said, even to that end, to sit and watch your older sibling, yes, I know it was hard, truck driver. I know that was hard. And so I do want to acknowledge the journey that you have been on these last weeks, and nothing but love coming to you, sir. Nothing but love coming to you. Man, if I could have, I was there in spirit. If I could have been sitting right next to you on that pew, I'd have been right there with you, sir. So I appreciate you, and feel free. This is family. That's the other thing I'm going to say about it. uh, I can always go back and post edit. So that's not an issue as far as what I put up for the final. I want you all, if you can, go out there and follow me on YouTube. I am serious about that because that is where I am planning to really make that my primary spot. But as we're going, I know a lot of you find it a lot easier to come in YouTube and so on and so forth, and that's fine too. So it's fine. Wherever you meet me at is good. But I'm saying I can go in and thank you for that BTD type hug today, Tall Pumps. Thank you, truck driver. Receive all of that and receive it from all of us because I co-sign with her on that. I'm just hugging you, and we can have a virtual group hug right now. Can we? Can we just make that a virtual group hug? Shelly Thunder, there's my girl. Good evening to you, and thank you for coming in. I done already handled somebody, Shelly. I think I did. I think I got. I think I did. I think I did. But thank you for coming in. Shelly Thunder is my girl. I was trying to test the channel late the other night, and lo and behold, I looked up and there was Shelly Thunder. And I tell you what, I appreciate her for just taking the time. And she was just, I don't know, scamming or what I want to say, surfing the channels and saw me and came in and was an invaluable help in helping me to get the studio set up. If any of the sounds or anything's too loud or not loud enough, let me know and I'll definitely make some adjustment. Murdy, you heard YouTube has more viewers. Let me see. Let me move that. But I find the website is not geared towards streaming in a dedicated way like Twitch. I got you, Murdy. I got you. It does have its pitfalls. That's for sure. It definitely does. That's why I am here. I am on Facebook. I stream from there as well. I stream let's see, Substack. If you guys are not, Substack seems to be the next sensation that's coming. So if you're not on Substack, you definitely want to run over there for my streamers and those content creators. Substack has a lot of big wheels coming over there now. It was originally pretty low key when it started. But people like Joy Reid, Dr. Heather Cox Richardson, almost all of your major news personalities and so on and so forth are on Substack. So if you're not subscribed to Substack and you don't have some activity going on over there, you might want to go ahead and make that a place of abode for you as well. Because there is a tremendous amount of shift and movement going on in Substack right now. So I stream on Substack, TikTok, and what's the other one? Instagram, all of those. So at the end of the day, you guess you have the malware up to date on Substack. I see you, Dalen. So there you are. Now, for those that are actually following the Bible study, I'm just going to touch on it in brief, and that's not going to be my emphasis. So, as I said, the Chop House is going to be, if you all have questions, if you have topics that you want to discuss, tonight I'm actually going to share a video that Kim Possible 711 sent to me. You can send me videos. You can send me topics to discuss. I would prefer that you do it ahead of time so I can do some prep work on it, because I do try to not just come in and just fly by the seat of my pants, to have something actually up and ready and prepared for you. So tonight I'm just going to touch on August the 3rd. And I hope that even though I've been gone, I'm hoping that many of you have still kept up with the Bible study, 1 Year Bible, whether it was Reese's Chronological or whether you were using the other. I tend to lean a lot more towards the Reese's Chronological, even though I do have them both. What I'm showing you here tonight, August the 3rd, would be Josiah. You all know Josiah became king at the age of 8, and he was a good king. And I love that because a lot of times we don't give credence to youth Sometimes we see youthful as incapable. We see the youth as um, too foolhardy, but at the end of the day, um, there are young people that are doing things. And I believe the young people of this generation, I play for a couple of churches. And today, I had the young people come and join us in the choir stand. They blew the roof off the building. It was just so powerful. And then I got, oh my goodness, he's a little toddler. He brings his since I've been there, he started bringing his guitar, and he sits on the front row with his guitar. So today he came up and he decided he wanted to sit with me on the organ bench. And so he was going back and forth between the front bench with his guitar and sitting on the organ with me. But I promise you, his name is Carter. I call him Coach Carter. I promise you, in about 2 or 3 years, you guys are going to see Carter doing some amazing, amazing things. These young people have abilities. And this generation almost seems like they're genius. They come here and they're so proficient, and their level of skill is so astounding. And quite naturally so. They don't struggle. They don't go through a lot of who shot John. I look at Josiah, who at the age of 8, if you can think about that, at the age of 8, he took on a whole entire kingdom and a whole nation of people and was an excellent and a good king for 32 years. So Second Chronicles and Second Kings, what we had in the scripture today dealt with that. Judgment on Nineveh predicted, God's righteous displeasure, Nineveh's terrible destruction. Then we had the birth of Jehoiakim, his early reformation, the birth of Joahaz. Oh, wait a minute. What's today? It's a day. Today's the 4th, isn't it? I'm a day behind. I do not have any problem. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk about that if you'll hold on just a second, Murdy, because one of the things that in the stream that it's the 3rd. Okay. Thank you, Joanna G. Thank you. One of the things that I want us to expand our thinking is inclusion of everybody, because everybody doesn't believe the same way, and that does not make anyone less than. Now, I know that a lot of our theologies and religions excommunicate people. And at the end of the day, I want us to hopefully break that trend. If we can do that, including atheists. And so out of the mouth of babies and sucklings, God has ordained perfected praise. Come on with that, Cassandra. Absolutely. So hang up, Murdy, you just all over what I'm going to share on tonight. And what you'll find even in my outro that I created, I included to my Christian fam, I love you, to every other faith-based fam, I love you. But I also said to my atheist family, I love you. Because at the end of the day, this is what we need to understand. All of us are family. And once we start putting these labels on and the stipulations on, and because there's so much that's up in the air as to what is truth. Y'all remember that question? What is truth? One of the reasons I felt compelled to come back on, there's so much going on in the world today. It's like really difficult to try to figure out what is truth. Even whoever was trying to make their money, Dr. Dady, by selling bots and whatever. What is truth? Do you really have that many viewers, or are you just spending money and buying bots? What is truth? So at the end of the day, I'm gonna come back to that, but thank you, Murdy, and thank you for asking. And if you are an atheist, you don't have to state one way or the other. But if you are fully embraced in the Chop House. There is no negativity whatsoever. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna touch on that a little bit as far as the Bible. One reason knows I sent him something that came across my hands. And I sent it to him and asked him to look at it. And I want to have a conversation with him, because I love One Reason's thoughts and his ideas and his perspectives, because he sees it from so many different viewpoints. But it dealt with, that concept of validity of scripture and so on and so forth. So again, for every atheist that's in the room, whoever and wherever, you are welcome in this space. So at the end of the day, one of the reasons why I did this too, and I'm gonna rush through this a little bit more hurriedly. There are so many, and this may allow me to just go ahead and segue. There are so many people that will argue with you about right and wrong as it relates to the Bible. And this is my challenge, and this is the reason why we're reading the Bible. Even though you all know, for those that came on the daily Bible study, you know that there's a lot of it that I do not embrace. There's a lot of it that I do not espouse to, especially when you start talking about killing people. I do not espouse to women as chattel. I do not espouse to chattel slavery. I do not espouse to any of that. So, Jesus Christ the same yesterday, today, and forever. I contend that God has not changed. People were delusional. So that's my opinion. Y'all don't have to agree with me, but that's my personal opinion. But I don't think that God has ever intended for humans to own other humans and to treat them as they are less than human. I don't believe that. I don't believe that women are second class citizens. I don't believe that. I don't believe in going out and killing people and saying, this is my house, this is my land, this is my car, get out, and killing them, their kids, their dog, the cat. I don't espouse to that. So these are some difficult conversations we may have in the house because, these are some of the things that are going on as we read these scriptures. And I think many times, Murdy, you haven't been here for all of those experiences, but I have pointed out very specifically those areas and points and passages that I do not espouse to. And so just to kind of bring you up to speed. Do I believe that they thought that's what God wanted them to do? I absolutely do. As well as I think a lot of people right now today feel like they're doing what God wants them to do, and they can be as wrong as two left shoes, but that's what they think. But I'm like, let every man be persuaded in his own mind. If that's what you believe and that's what you think, I'm not going to fight with you. But that's why I believe that we need to move away from the form of, if you don't believe like I believe, then you are of the devil. That I don't espouse to at all. All right. So we had the birth of Daniel going on. Jeremiah's ministry begins. His call to an early vision and his first message to backsliding Judah, Jeremiah 3. And I'm going to say this, y'all, I might lose you all even here because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people that believe and teach in backsliding. And I said, you'll never find the word backsliding in the New Testament. It's only in the Old Testament. And even that, you need to put it in context. But at the end of the day, Murdy, you studied in China a few years ago, and it was quite interesting there because the churches are segregated between the foreigners and the locals. The government enforces it, requiring ID checking to enter the church usually. From the statistics, I heard China is likely to become the largest Christian nation in the entire world in the coming decade due to conversions. Considering that China was 90% atheist in 2017, it is quite a turnaround. That is an interesting statistic, and thank you for sharing that, Murdy. That is very interesting, and you know what? We see some level of what folks want to call conversion going on over here. But I'm going to tell you, and y'all jump in the chat and say what you feel. I have an issue with state-sanctioned religion, which it seems like that's what this administration is trying to do. I don't believe in it. I don't embrace it. I don't espouse to it. And I feel like this, when the state sanctions something, a lot of people are not true converts, in my opinion. A lot of people are doing what they need to do to get by and live. I'm just saying, a lot of people are scared to die. A lot of people are scared of being made outcasts. A lot of people are afraid of when governments start dipping off in your faith and in your religious practices. I feel like that point it becomes coercion. Now, and I'm going to say even to that, and some people will be very, very appalled at me saying this, but I do believe it. Christianity has always been a bloody religion. I said what I said. Christianity has always been a bloody religion. And so, a lot of what we see going on, even in these days and times here in the United States, is nothing new under the sun. Listen, Constantine, and when they were having the Christian wars, and there wasn't a matter of them using the term war figuratively. They were killing folks. They were killing people. Well, if you gonna threaten to kill me, I guess I'd convert too. And at the end of the day, I think that and don't get me wrong, for everybody that's going to get nervous and say, oh my God, I thought she was a Christian, and now, Lord Jesus, what is she? Well, as I said, I'm going to come on and I'm going to segue with that, because I am a reformist. And in that reforming, I told y'all a couple of years ago, I believe it was in like 2023, 2022, my religion is flow. I feel like there is a difference between atheist and agnosticism, and I don't think people acknowledge the latter as much. I got you. Thank you, Dalen. Now, so, I feel like, and I believe this with all my heart, and I do love God. I love God, and I believe that God loves me. Higher power, whatever you want to acknowledge or not acknowledge, is fine. But I believe that there is a power that works in concert with me in my life. I know a lot of our teachings teach as if God, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm really working to rid myself of the gender term when speaking of God, because God is a spirit. There's no gender there. But at the end of the day, even that has made a very divided scenario between quote unquote believers. And my whole thing isn't going to be about God. I'm going to touch on and continue to touch on different things, and the power and the wealth. The power I believe that you have comes from tapping into your flow. The power I believe you have, just like water and wind are two of the most powerful forces that you will ever encounter. And it's all about the flow. It's all about the current. If your flow in your heart is blocked, you're going to have a problem. If the flow in your brain or any other artery or vein that's trying to get those blood vessels trying to get blood to your organs, if there is a block in any of those areas that you cannot flow, you are going to physically manifest an episode, because your body needs that constant flow. And so what I started to look at, and I started to, because I'm going to tell you, and all of the good evening, Stacy 546. It's good to see you. What I'm going to say, and thank you for coming in the Lions Den. I'm always happy when the Lions join us. Come on in, sis. Come on in. That's my twin. That's my redhead, blind, blue-eyed twin right there. And I want to welcome you on up in the Lions Den, sis. Glad to have you. Now, what I feel is I have taken a journey, and everybody may not have the same journey that I have, and that's okay. But I came from a very staunch and strict Pentecostal background, and there's no stone throwing here. I appreciate the bridge that's brought me over, and I cannot and will not throw any kind of rock, stones, or anything else at that bridge. But I will say I've grown, and I think everybody needs to grow spiritually, whatever your spiritual journey is. And again, it may not encompass the Bible. It may not encompass this, that, or the other that other people move in. There is often this term of weak atheists versus hard atheists. Weak atheism usually follows the idea of, I don't know if God exists and I don't believe, which is agnosticism. Come on, wait a minute, that jumped on me. Sorry about that, folks. Whereas, and I don't know if God exists. I think weak atheism is very common around the world. I would say some people are just culturally Christian, but don't really believe. Okay, I hear you. Listen, I believe there's a whole lot of Christians that name themselves as Christians and don't believe. I do believe that. I've been from place to place, and location to location. And that's one of the reasons why I was doing the daily Bible study, to at least not so much to say I'm engrossed in every doctrine and concept that's in these 66 books. I wanted to go from cover to cover just so that people could stop arguing over a Bible they haven't read. What I found is that most times, listen, and no shade here, but someone was talking today who's probably 70-ish, somewhere in that phase, and she said she'd never read The Lion and the Lamb will lie down together. In 70 something years. Now, I try to, she said she'd heard it. And I appreciate her for her honesty. She said she'd heard it. She sang about it in songs, but she had never read it in the Bible. And when she read it this week, it did something for her. Praise God for that. But I'm just amazed at how you can be affiliated within the construct of a church and have never in 70 some odd years have read that scripture. That's such a familiar passage of scripture to me, but to everybody it's not. So I have to constantly remind myself, everybody doesn't come from the background biblically that you came from, and that's okay. But again, the situation of people that will argue you up and down to the death on a book that they've never read themselves is quite amazing to me. So I am for spiritual reform. And even as we see everything that's going on in this day and time, I feel like spiritual reform is needed. And flow, I think the idea, again, anything that's blocking your flow, because as I begin to grow and I begin to mature, I begin to find blockages mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to different areas of my life. And those blocks, I believe, are just like when I described having a blockage to your heart, having a blockage to your brain, having a blockage to any blood vessel that's trying to get blood to any part or organ of your body. If it cannot get oxygen, if it cannot get food and what it needs in the cell, it's going to die, or at best be seriously afflicted. So this is where I'm saying, it as we journey, look and take serious assessment. We talk about the elements and how each of the elements, and I'm not going to go back through Institute for Higher Consciousness, but if you have an interest in that, I can share that further. But we talk about the elements, and each of those elements represent areas of the body. And at the end of the day, if we are not bringing ourselves to a point where we are allowing all areas of our being, our in totality, we have got to flow everywhere. If you cut off the flow to your toes, you can say, well, the rest of the blood is flowing in my body, but you're going to have to cut those toes off. So those toes with no blood going to them are going to get gangrene and eventually infect the rest of the body. So this is where I'm trying to get us to understand, whatever area you might find that you're not flowing. And I'm going to say this, when I said and chose the topic of health and wealth, let me tell you what I believe your greatest wealth, I said power. I'm sorry, I said power and wealth. Your greatest wealth is your health. I'm going to say that again. Your greatest wealth, in my opinion, y'all out here chasing coins. You're trying to have the house of your dreams. You're trying to have the career. What good is all that if you have no health? And what I, especially in our community, want to challenge us with is get your mind healthy. Get your body healthy. Get your finances, yes, get those healthy too. Get every area of your life. But if you didn't have any of that, if you've got your health, you've got wealth. Y'all hear what I'm saying? And so, this is where I want us to begin to come into a different mindset and adjust, because what we're seeing even in this country right now, I believe, are a bunch of greedy, self-centered, narcissistic people who are trying to hoard up all the money they can get for themselves, and they don't care about anybody else. They don't care if you eat. They don't care if your kids eat. They don't care if you have health care. They don't care if you die. They just do not care. And so at the end of the day, hey, oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. Kim Possible's in the house, and thank you for that resub, sis, and welcome in the Lion's Den. It's so good to have you, girl. I appreciate you, Pastor, and nothing but love coming to you. Come on in here and join the Lion's Den. I appreciate you. Join us, join us, join us. Now, I'm going to say that again because I truly believe that the wealth that we are looking for needs to be our health. And again, I'm talking about in every aspect and phase of who we are. Now, so when my sister, the spiritual reform, and again, I want to say 2022, 2023, when we started this, it's been a while. My sister Sheila, who is a genius in her own right, she really is. So this was her reinterpretation of Genesis, and the earth became chaotic. And now when I talk about the earth, I'm talking about my earth. I'm talking about this tabernacle. I'm talking about my heart, my mind, my emotions. That and this is one thing. The Bible says the kingdom of God is in you. For those that follow the biblical tradition, you don't have to. But in other words, the power, the source is in you. If I can use other terminologies for people to expand beyond. So it's in you. But so much of what we spend our time doing is external to ourselves. We're looking at all of this outside of us, but it says, if somebody says, lo, it's here, lo, it's there, don't be deceived by their words, because the kingdom of God is in you. We don't even preach that, so when you talk about Christians and believers that don't believe, listen, there's so many levels of that. There's so many elements and aspects of that the kingdom is actually inside of you. Because listen, we are searching, we are seeking, we are almost driving ourselves crazy trying to find it. And it's like, it's inside of you. What are you doing? So when I am looking at this and the earth became chaotic, I'm talking on an individual basis, because I feel like the only way we're going to heal the land is that we've got to heal ourselves first. Now, with that being said, I'm going to say this and continue on reading her interpretation of this. I was talking to God, and I feel like the Spirit of God was speaking. The Spirit was speaking. And the question was posed, wilt thou be made whole? And the answer was resoundingly yes. But then it was like, but how many of us continue to embrace brokenness? Do you want to be made whole? And the fact that that question was asked implies that you can be made whole, but it's a decision. Okay, I'm gonna go back and say that again. The question being asked implies that you can be made whole, but it's a decision. So at the end of the day, why we continue to embrace the brokenness is because we teach and we preach a fractured fairy tale kind of theology that has no flow. It's damned. And you all remember I was using the terminology, I'll be undamned. I'll be undamned. I'll be undamned because I'm going to flow. So every time I hit these different areas that are telling me what I'm not, that I'm not whole, matter of fact, I had somebody point blank blunt tell me I can't be made whole. And we've really taught people that they can't be whole, and they believe that. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And I understand that, and there's no shade, there's no negativity going with that. But if that's genuinely what you believe, and I'm going to put it even in this context, because you all have heard me teach on this for years, I'm so unworthy. That just, it unravels my brain, that you still operate in that energy, because it tells me that you identify not with the God part of you, but with, the part of, and I'm doing a study right now on shame. I'm not finished with it. But shame is so powerful. And that's really what caused the collapse of their psychology when they, as we tell the story of the fall in the garden, the first identification that there was a fall was that they were ashamed. And shame always, and hear me when I say this, please hear me when I say this. Anytime you are teaching from a shame-based consciousness, you're always going to have people that feel less than. Why? Because condemnation sets in. You never feel worthy. You never feel good enough, because you're constantly remembering. You're constantly, part of your meditation, let me come back, Dr. Dady, part of my meditation yesterday was tied to shame, about past transgression and rewiring my brain to expect more. Come on here, Dr. Dady. That's what I'm talking about. And the brain, thank you for that, because the brain can be rewired. The brain can be rewired, but not when we're constantly telling you and teaching you that this is who you are and this is what you are and da 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 da. No, I'm not. Who am I identifying? And that's one of the first things. If you go out to my Substack, that's one of the first things that I wrote about. Beloved, now are we the sons and daughters of God. Now are we the sons and daughters of God. And we'll be even more. It does not yet appear what we shall be. But we know as we perfect, yes, it can, Kim Possible. And this is what I'm wanting us to embrace so that we can come into the flow. Because what am I saying? Flow has power. So I talked about power and wealth. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Power and wealth. Where does the wealth come from? Your health is what I'm identifying. That is your greatest wealth. Baby, what can you do with $10 billion if you have no health? If you don't know you're in this world? If you're barely able, what's the point? So, yes, on Substack, please follow me on Substack. And if you want to get more of an understanding of what I'm talking about here, because I did a teaching on what are you identifying with, the sons of God, or are you identifying with the son of man? And at the end of the day, or daughters, this whole gender thing that we put on, but basically the whole concept of being free to grow and flow at your highest and greatest potential. I want the superlatives. I want at your highest potential. And we have the ability to do that, but as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. But some of you are trading your health for materialism and trying to call that wealth. Did I say something right there? Some of you are trading your health. I want you to hear what I'm saying, because this is the mindset and the mentality that we have created in this country of capitalism. We will trade all of our health trying to get wealth. And at the end of the day, so many times when you finally get to it, you can't enjoy it because you're so sick. You can't enjoy it because your health is gone. You can't enjoy it because, listen, some folk don't even know they still in this world. You did all of this striving. And for what? What will it profit a man to gain the whole world? And at the end of the day, you don't have mind, you don't have body, you don't have nothing. You tore up from the floor up and run down into the ground. For what? Why have you bought into, and then especially to the extent where some people have become ice in the veins. They don't care about anybody else. I'm looking at some of this that's going on. I shared this the other day when I was on, and I think Kai Chick was here and some others, but Kai Chick and I were having more of the conversation. They showed one of the Palestinians who had been a doctor, and he literally was skin stretched over a skeleton and had died that day, and they were mourning him. And I'm gonna tell you what, what have we become? And again, it's nothing new under the sun, because we've been doing this. Israel and Palestine been having this fight forever. The United States, I mean, listen, we've been doing this insanity for a long time, because at the end of the day, I can talk about how the Palestinians are being starved and mistreated, malnourishment and malnutrition, taking them out in droves, and we just watching the people die with no sense of feeling or care. That's what I'm calling ice in your veins. When you don't feel anything, when you see people suffering like that, something is wrong with you. But listen, America's not removed from that, because we did that to the slaves, and we're still doing it to people. So, we ain't got to go back to way back when. We can come into 2025, and this is going on in our country. And at the end of the day, ice in the veins that does not care and feels absolutely nothing when we see that. What have we become? And all of this because we're trying to get more. More for what? If you're not going to help others that are in need, if you're not going to care, if you're not going to be your brother and your sister's keeper, what is the point? Spirit, soul, and body each have to be fed and nurtured and properly cared for, Jazzy Mimi. And absolutely, you are all over it. And this is what I'm talking about, Joanna G. While we're spending so much time, energy, and effort, and the world is definitely broken. To go back to what my sister was saying, and I love this. That's why I asked her, could I use it when I was putting all this down? When she said it a couple of years ago. She has the most ingenious thoughts. And the earth became, let me put it back up so you all can see it. I want you to be able to see it along with me. And the earth became chaotic, so that it no longer formed itself into a beautiful crystal. And many of you that went to Institute for Higher Consciousness, you know that comes from the book with Dr. Emoto, and how he was making the crystals, and the crystals formulated differently depending on whether it was fed positive or negative energy, positive or negative words. So that the earth could no longer form itself into a beautiful crystal, and darkness had eclipsed the light over the deep. And the Spirit of God vibrated upon the face of the water, which copied from the Spirit a healing and creative flow. Hey! Now that part right there, come on. Can I read that one more time? And the Spirit of God vibrated upon the face of the water, which copied from the Spirit a healing and creative flow. That's why I told y'all, my religion is flow. Because at the end of the day, and God said, vibrating, light be. Listen, that was some of the best. That was some of the best translation of Genesis 1:1-3 that I'd ever heard, and I just had to capture it, and I do want to give her credit for that. But this was in our dialogue, in our discussion, as we were reading the book by Dr. Emoto. And there's so much when you understand flow. And then you all remember we were talking about airplanes and current and all of that. And she was an air traffic controller, so she's got all of that. And that's really what really intrigued me and really piqued my curiosity and piqued my interest, and I was just eating it up. She was just talking and teaching me, and I was just eating it. And you'll see a lot of that here. I'm not going to go over all of that right now. But when Mert, when you ask me, what am I talking about when I'm talking about flow? I'm talking about coming into this place where you move all the different barriers, and you begin to move in a realm where the spirit of healing and creative flow, because we are created we are creatives. I believe that all of us are creatives. And I believe when you're not operating in your creative flow, this is what becomes sickness. This is what becomes psychological disorders. This is what becomes trauma. This is what becomes so much of the negativity we're created to create. When we talk about being in the image of God, for those that espouse to that, and again, you don't have to, but when I talk about being created in the image of God, I'm saying I'm a creator just like God is a creator, and not a destroyer. And this is where I differ so heavily from many of the texts, I do not espouse to God as a destroyer. So, I know a lot, and some folks, can I say this? Some folks get off on destroy, crush, kill, destroy, crush, kill, destroy. What is it? What is it that you get off so much about destroy? God is a creator. Come on, Dr. Dady. We've been talking about conducting energy audits to be more self-aware. Come on, your energy budget, Dr. Dady. Your energy budget. I love that by her last name is Tony Jones, and she has a poem called The Energy Budget, and I've played that several times. Co-creators with God is who we are, Kim Possible, and when we're not doing that, this is why all creation is groaning, waiting for creators to create. You understand? Creation is groaning, waiting on you to create, but you're too busy talking about you're broken. You're too busy talking about you can't be made whole. You're too busy talking about what you don't have and what you're not and what you can't do and what you can't be. Some is better than none. Take it to another level. Come on, rise above. MCP 812, come on in here, sis. It's good to see you. Another line in the lion's den. Come on in here, girl. I love me some you. This is what I'm trying to get us to. When we come to, I'm gonna get the line for you, girl. I got to give it to you. I got to give it to you. Thank you for joining. Listen, the lines are showing up in here. The lines are showing up in here, and I just absolutely love it. Now, this is what I'm hoping that Lions, we will get this mentality so in us that we understand nothing can be restrained. Nothing can be withheld. I need you to reprogram your thinking, your thoughts. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to go to where Mert is. So many biblical scriptures are contrary to building you up that it's hard to get you to relate to your God consciousness. And that's what for me, it's God consciousness. I am aware that I am the sons and daughters of God. I am aware that I'm a co-creator. I am aware that God has given me dominion. I am aware that power of life and death is in my tongue. I am aware. Come on, the lines are growing and flowing somewhere. Come on with me, Cassandra. This is what I want us to understand. It's time for us to wake up the lions. I'm done talking to sheep, and there's enough people out there talking to sheep. That's okay. I need lions. People that will come to the forefront and say, I'm here. Depression is deceiving and destructive. A renewed mind is life. Come on, Jazzy. And this, and so this is do we have challenges? Absolutely. But now I'm going to say this. Sometimes you have the power even in your tongue to change that challenge. Some things we go through way longer than need be. And I'm saying, well, no, all of that's not the Lord. Some of it is because you just stayed there and could not and would not pull yourselves into a place of understanding what God had given you, who you are, whose you are, and you just wallow when you can go ahead and get up. Come on, Dr. Dady. And I know we love to say, well, God mustn't. No, some of that God was like, you could have made that 40-year journey in 3 days. But for the hardness of your heart and not really understanding it, even when I say that, by the time we get, come on, pull yourself out to listen and see what God can do and will do, flirt, and will do. Because God said, I create the fruit of your lips. I create what did God do? He spoke, boom, it was. God spoke, boom, it was. God spoke, boom, it was. It was the word that was creative. The word that, and this is, again, it's available to you. It's available to you. That's why I'm saying, watch the words that you speak and words that come out of your mouth. Because listen, the words that you speak, they need to be spirit and they need to be life. If you're constantly speaking death over yourself, what do you think you're going to reproduce? You're going to reproduce death. You're going to reproduce what it is that you're speaking. What is your focal point? What is your understanding of who you are and the power that God has given you? I'm so serious about that. But it is What do I want to say? And I'm not saying because hear me. I don't have a problem with having exposing that I went to therapy. There's nothing wrong with therapy. If therapy can help you study to show yourself approved unto God, that also includes studying yourself and when need be with a therapist. If you can't figure out all the twists and turns that you had and have gone through in your life by yourself, study to shew thyself approved. Get somebody that studied in that area and study yourself with them. Am I talking to anybody? Undam yourselves. That's what I'm talking about. Wherever the block is, wherever the flow is not going to all of the organs, to all of the spaces and all of the places of your existence in totality, not just in this one area, but in every area of whatever and however, what makes you you. Make sure there is a flow. And then you see what the picture, the graphic that I put there. Sometimes opening your eyes may be the most painful thing that you'll ever have to do. And why did I include that? Because sometimes, and hear me when I say this, sometimes when we realize that we've been taught in error or taught an error, it's painful to open our eyes to that. That's one thing. Sometimes when we see, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm okay. I was tore up for about 2 days, but I saw a person for who they really were, only because of a situation that came down. I believed, I felt in my heart that this person was away. And when I say sometimes opening your eyes may be the most painful thing you ever have to do. When I had to, because what did Maya say? When people show you who they are, believe them. And this isn't some skewed, I'm thinking something off the wall about somebody that's not real. No, this is something that really happened. This is something that really went down. And at the end of the day, when I had to open my eyes to the fact that this person was not who I thought and believed them to be. Am I talking to anybody? You talk about painful. And I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried. Really, I think the crying was really the fact that I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to understand it that way. I didn't want it to be. Am I talking to anybody? I did not. And so it was, oh my God, I just can't. And I mean, I'm weeping and I'm snotting and I'm crying. And listen, I'm going to go back and get flirt. A lot of people don't want to help others because they don't want to see others get ahead. I don't understand it. If you have knowledge to help the next, why wouldn't you? But people quick to say you rock and I roll with all the rolling is your name out of their mouths talking about you. I don't get why. Come on. Because people are not self-aware. People do not understand the wealth because there's no reason for jealousy. There's no reason for competition. There's no reason not to help my brother or my sister. There's no reason for me to disconnect and not be available to be a resource to you to help you get to where you're going. There's no reason other than I've got to have some misunderstanding about myself. There's some derision, some confusion. There's a block. You know, blood's not getting to the heart. Blood's not getting to the brain. There's not a flow. And this is why I'm saying the way the world is going to be healed, each one of us are going to have to deal with our own blocks and our own flows to get us to where we need to be. So we have to get comfortable with the dissonance we feel when we find out the truth. That part, Kim, that part, oh my God. If you ever had, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. If you ever had to be forced to become comfortable with the dissonance that you felt when you found out the truth. I know I'm not the only one. And when I tell you, oh my God, I pray, I'm so grateful for, you know, this was one of those things. Have you ever had a thing you can't tell everybody? Not because it's something to hide. It's just so deep and so painful and so hurtful. You can't tell everybody. You just can't. Matter of fact, let me tell you what. It's so deep and so painful and so wounding. Come on, I see the ones in the chat. I see you, MC. Because see, we're kindred spirits together. Come on, stay lifted. Come on, I see you. Another lion in the lion's den. I see you, Dalen. It's something about that. Listen, when David said it was my own familiar friend, my mama, it was my own. It was that person and that thing that was so close to your heart. Am I talking to anybody? I know I am. It was so, and that's why, Kim, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to have to embrace it. I did, because it was just too close to my heart. My heart couldn't take it. My heart just it just couldn't take it. I was like, no, 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 no. This just can't be. This just can't be. But it is. It was and it is. That's for you. Stay lifted. The Lions welcoming you in. Thank you for joining us on tonight. But listen, whoo, Kim Possible said something right there. Let me go up and grab it. Dalen, can you pin that for me? You got to become comfortable. Lord, today. That's the one of the most painful things. Let me just put the graphic back up one more time, because honey, that's real. Y'all see the blood, the razor, and the blood streaming from the eye socket. That's real. That's real. However, let me tell you, because yes, I cried, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for support. And listen, none of us are here. No man is an island. When it's the closest ones, that's what hurts the worst, Kim Possible. And you not even lied. You not even lied. And I won't go through all the who shot John, but oh my. You talk about piercing the heart. Oh, okay. I have to get you a sword, girl. But at the end of the day, I could have succumbed to that. Now, what I did do, because again, the support of a friend, and I was completely transparent. I don't think I could have repeated it 2 or 3 times, because it was just too painful. It was too painful to have. Y'all know what I'm saying. There are some things that are just too painful to repeat. You can't. That's why a lot of times, and please take this and work with it. Y'all, when someone has had the death of a loved one, don't everybody keep asking them to recount what happened over and over and over. That's traumatic. Well, what happened? Listen, if they want to talk about it, they will. If they don't bring it up, you leave it alone unless you feel an unction from somewhere that this conversation needs to be had. But people get tired of and pained telling the same story over and over and over again. And this is the key to people that really don't care. They're just nosy and want to know. They want the deets, as my nephew would say. They just want the deets. They really don't care. They just want the details. Baby, when you just listen, don't ask. Come on with that, Pastor Kim. And people will talk about what they want to talk about. It'll almost just bubble out of them naturally and automatically. You don't have to. But I'm telling you, when you have to retell, and whether it's the loss of a loved one or a situation that has really come just right, pierced you in your heart to the core, you just almost you just can't keep you just can't keep going over it. You just cannot keep. And at the end of the day, my friend, she was very, very supportive, nosy, Kim Possible, just being nosy. I see you, MCP 812. At the end of the day, she initially said to me, Regina, you know you're going to rise above this. And I said, yes, but right now I need to feel the pain. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Yes, I knew I was going to rise above it. And she said to me immediately, you're absolutely correct. I'm going to sit with you here in the pain. Because slapping a Band-Aid and acting like something is not there is not healing. And I'm going to purport, this is what makes you so that you're not whole, because you got a whole bunch of stuff that you're not actually dealing with that's up under there. Tons and tons and layers of it. You can be made whole, but you got to deal with your stuff. And so I had my 2 days. Yes, 2 days. I'm telling you, I was really in shock. I just couldn't believe it. I just didn't want to. I did not want to believe it. I saw what I saw. I witnessed what I witnessed, but I just didn't want to believe it. Opening your eyes can be the most painful thing that you ever have to do. But I had to deal with that thing. When people, and I'm telling you, I kept hearing Maya Angelou, when people show you who they are, believe them. When people show you who they are, and it wasn't a one-off, a happenstance. No, this was definitely showing your colors in full color. And I was so taken aback. I was. But I needed to process my pain. And this part allows me to be made whole. Because after that second day, after I finally came to terms with it, yeah, it takes a humility to sit with someone when they are in pain. And it's usually because they have not sat in their pain. Ooh, Kim. Oh, if I could bring you in the stream on that one. People that have not sat in their own pain cannot sit with you in their pain. And that, you said a whole word right there. You said, honey, that'll preach. It takes a humility to sit with someone when they are in pain. And it usually is because they have not sat in their own pain. Oh, listen, we talking about flow. We talking about flow. I want to get you to your power and I want to get you to your wealth. But that kind of experience where you're not allowed to sit in your pain, deal with it, name it, specify it, operate everything out of it, look at it from all the angles and all of the perspectives that you need to be healed from it. If you do not do that and jump up and run off yes, you're going to be out here talking about, I'm not whole, I'm not whole. Wilt thou be made whole? Yes, you can be made whole, but you're going to have to sit in some of your pain and be healed. But you don't have to stay broken. Am I talking to anybody? Wilt thou be made whole implies I can be made whole. It implies in the very essence of the question, I can be made whole. It's a choice. Do I want to stay broken? Now, can we deal with this? Because this is why everyone doesn't have the capacity to process what is unique to you. Come on here, Dr. Dady. Y'all talking and keep on talking. Y'all dropping some good stuff. This is why everyone doesn't have the capacity to process what is unique to you. Come on and talk to me. You got to deal with your stuff. You got to deal with your stuff. Wilt thou be made whole? Please say yes. But please understand that's going to require opening your eyes to see some painful things that you didn't want to see. Dealing with some painful areas that you didn't want to have to deal with. But listen, I'm going to say this and you're going to hear me say this. Everyone has their own path to travel, Joanna G. I'm going to say this and you're going to keep. The truth will make you free. I want you to be free, but the only way you can be free is you got to deal in truth. You can't operate in a lie. You can't operate in deception. You can't operate in make believe. You can't operate in fairy tales. I wish it was like that. Baby, you got to deal in truth. The truth will make you free. You talk about freedom. The only way you're going to get to freedom is truth. Am I talking to anybody? And that truth sometimes may require you to open your eyes, and that may be the most painful thing you'll ever have to do. But you got to do it. That's your power. When you begin to flow in opening your eyes to the truth and seeing things and seeing life and seeing situations as they really are and not the way you want to dream them to be in some make-believe fairy tale or I dream a genie dunk boing and no, baby, you got to deal in truth so that it can make you free. And that is a flow. When you find freedom of flow to every part of your being, to your mind, to your emotions, to every area, that's when you become a person of power. Because the current, the flow, the power, you'll find very few things that are stronger than the flow of the wind. A hurricane, a tornado, come on, a typhoon, a tsunami, the power of flow. Oh my God. Truth unclogs the flow. Kim Possible 711. Truth. And then let me say this because I want you to deal with the truth in yourself. You can be made whole. There is greatness in you. You are above and not beneath. You are the lender and not the borrower. You know what? And I said this the other day. And again, Kai Chick and I and some others were in here. I don't care if you have to take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle of the paper. What is true and what is truth are two different things. It may be true. It was true at one time that the earth was flat, but the truth is that earth is round. It was just their limited knowledge and understanding that said it was flat. It may be true that, yes, I was weeping and crying over my eyes being open to this situation in this particular individual's real heart. But at the end of the day, the truth is I'm still free. The truth is I have nothing to hang my head down about. The truth is listen, I can keep on moving. I can keep on flowing. I can keep on being. I can see it for what it is. I can keep on loving. I can keep on. Now, mind you, it's going to be from a distance. You're not going, but at the end of the day, I can still be Regina. I can still be the spiritual thought leader and be whole. Am I talking to anybody? The scalpel of a skillful surgeon is painful, but the process brings about healing. Jazzy, y'all better talk in here. This is some good stuff. It is required and it's necessary, Jazzy. It's required and it's necessary. And the process will bring about healing. I remember I had something that happened to my hand and I got an infection in my thumb. And when I tell you, I know what it was. I pulled a hangnail. And that joker got infected. My finger got so fat, it got so swollen, I could feel my heart pumping in my finger because it had swollen up just that large. And when I finally got that joker lanced, number one, you wouldn't imagine the smell that came from all of that putrid pus that had built up inside my finger. And when I tell you, everybody in the room almost fell over. And that may sound nasty, but I want you to get the visual. This is why I need you to get in the flow. I need you, as Jazzy said, get that scalpel. Because, baby, when they sliced and lanced that thumb open and all of that pus came out of there, oh, my God, the smell. But can you imagine what that was doing to me inside and under the flesh? When we talk about, oh, such and such got under my skin, there are things that are under your skin that need to be lanced so you can get rid of the infection. But you can be made whole. Am I talking to anybody? You can be made whole. Now, that's all. Let me see my time. Okay, it's about time for me to get out of here. Kim Possible 711 shared something with me, and I want to share that as well on tonight. You know, I said the power is in the flow, because the force of the flow is what the release of that force of the flow is what has the power in it. When you release that flow, the power is in that flow. I said the wealth, and I do want you to get this down in your shondo. You have no greater wealth than the health of you. The health of you, which also includes mental and psychological, emotional, all of that. I'm not just talking about your body. Be well. What Dr. Spock say, be well and prosper. Now, I'm going to share this last video, and I appreciate Kim Possible 711 for shooting this to me, because it talks about I've seen and watched several videos where and I'm not I don't really want to feel like I have to qualify myself, but in case somebody's looking at this or someone may look at it on demand later on, I do have to qualify, because everybody doesn't have a clear understanding of some of the things. But when I talk about, they were talking about rubbing your hands together, and they were just doing a science project. It wasn't about, trying to be new age, but I know some people get really tripped up on things like that. And we're going to talk about some of that too, because I'm also, as I said, one reason, and I shared something with him. I'm going to listen, this book right here, I'm studying African spirituality. Because at the end of the day, the Ethiopians and the African culture so far predated even in Christianity, but just in religion in general, all of this that we've come into. And we know, and I'm going to say this, I love all of my brothers and sisters that are out there of every color, race, and creed. But we know Black folk have been a spiritual people since forever. I'm going to say that again. Black folk have been a spiritual people since forever. And a lot of the spirituality that we operated in when we were enslaved and proselytized into white nationalist Christianity that they taught on the plantations from the white preachers that came to the plantation to preach and indoctrinate us. Much of our spirituality as Black folks, they attempted to expunge that from us and refused to allow us to operate in our spirituality. I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back, because I know that's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And so we were required to assimilate. We were required to do a whole lot of things, or we had to do what we were doing on the low, go and hide, go in the brush arbor, go somewhere where nobody could see it. So I'm in a process of reattaching to my African spirituality. So this book right here, The Spiritual Warriors Are Healers, by Manfundishi Hassam Salim. Excellent book. Excellent book. I could tell you all the greats that he studied with, but some of you wouldn't even know who I was talking about. But I mean, this man has studied with all of the greats. You want to get this book. Listen, I said what I said, Jazzy. I said what I said. So at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you what. As I've seen all this white nationalist Christianity on display and the confusion, y'all raping little girls and women and doing everything damnable under the sun. But then you want to lay hands on somebody talking about this is who Jesus sent. Yeah, somebody's confused. Somebody's really confused. Now, I also, anybody that's interested, I also did get a copy. Now, know that this is going to be some translation as well. But I got me an Ethiopian Bible. The original Ethiopian Bible is not attainable. It is, I want to say, it might be Egypt. But wherever it is, we don't have access to it. But I did go and get an Ethiopian Bible, which again predates all of the King James. Now, this is the thing that people they cannot call what they do Christianity. It is absolutely not Christ-like. But at the end of the day, Kim, as I said earlier, Christianity has always been a bloody religion, as have some other religions as well, but definitely Christianity. And all of the wars that they had, and they were running around killing people. You just got an Ethiopian Bible for your birthday. Come on, girl. I love it. I'm enjoying it. So the topic is, and I'm not going to go there tonight, but we'll get into some of it later on, because this is the Chop House. We talk about a little bit of everything. Understanding those things that were planted in, and those things that are, because I told somebody at the end of the day, you can go to Philemon, whichever way you want to pronounce it. You can go there all day long. If I was on Onesimus and I was a runaway slave, I ain't going back to my master. I don't care how much you tell me that's what Jesus wants me to do. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So you can pass me around to your mama, your daddy, and everybody else. No, it's not gonna work for me. Listen, I told her, you talking about if my husband died and I didn't raise up any seed, and then I got to do his brother and we don't raise any seed, and then they go through all 7 other brothers. No, I ain't getting ready to do that. So at the end of the day, come on, truck driver, that part. There is a lot to be said about the culture as well as translations, because the King James Version was not the original. Listen, y'all don't know how many times that the Bible had been translated and retranslated by the time they got to King James, and why some people can't understand that, I don't know. But at the end of the day, please believe it's been translated many, 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 many times prior to King James, and it's been translated many times after. So at the end of the day, there are a lot of debates and conversation going on revolving around that fact. You all know I came in, I think one of my last streams I did before I left after Gifted Hands, what was that baby? Nathan the Gift passed away. And we talked about Kebulon and Africa and the original. And this is something that particularly I hope that people of color, yes, Institute for Higher Consciousness, it's a collection of videos on my YouTube channel. Yes, Dalen. I hope that especially Black people, because you know what? We have been made to be, if you will, the least of all, when we are just as great as everyone else and have moved in greatness all of our existence. But unfortunately, a lot of people do not understand from whence we've come. One thing that I do love about the book on the African study, it goes back and explains so much of the African root of who we are. I wish we would share this and teach it to our children. Dalen, I know you're a reader. I wish we would go back and share this with our children so they could know just how great they are and have always been. And not just words of such, but actual, let's go back and let's read the history. Let's go back and recapture the archaeology. Let's go back and recapture everything that we can, not just in just figurative speaking, but let's go back and snatch the facts and then give that to our babies so that they can know who they are. And some of that's not going to jive with King James. I said what I said, and we need to have a conversation around that. Some of that, and there's a reason why. King James wasn't for us. King James wasn't for us. King James really wasn't for the white folks that left England. But at the end of the day, this is something I've had to grapple with growing up in the South, walking in confidence around mediocre people. And it's not always white people who hate on others for presenting a sense of excellence. And you're telling the whole truth right there. And again, Dr. Dady, I'm going to say that's because of delusion and derision themselves, because they see themselves in a state less than. And when you exude excellence, they get offended. Who she thinks she is. Got her nose all up in the air, arrogant and da-da-da. No, I just refuse to live and be trashy. And I don't want to say that in a condescending type of way. When I say trashy, I'm not talking in a matter of, I'm saying less than the quality of what you really have the opportunity to walk in. You have been afforded the opportunity as excellence. You're kings and queens up in this joint. Why are we living an existence that's in the guttural level? Why do we that part? And I am quite convinced that there's the derision of not knowing who we are. I was so disenchanted by that, always taking accountability for my actions, yet ever so aware of the thought process. Dr. Dady, and I get it. Listen, there's so many places I could go with that because I was raised in a predominantly white school system, which was a blessing. But and Stacy can tell you, Stacy 546 was a schoolmate of mine. Black folk were not the majority there. But at the end of the day, I was taunted, teased, and talked about by black folk just as, what are you doing? So, and then King James only created the Church of England and had a Bible published so he could get a divorce. And now that is the truth, Kim Possible 711, even though a lot of people don't know that fact. That is the truth. He wanted a divorce from his wife and he created the Church of England so that he could do that. And that is the truth. These are the places, Kim Possible, that I want to leave this forum and this platform to address because so many people are ignorant to the truth. All they've ever heard is the Bible, the Bible, the Bible, and people preaching and teaching from the Bible, but they have no knowledge of history. They have no knowledge of background. They have no knowledge of anything. And even as I said earlier on before you came, the reason why I started the Bible study every single night from cover to cover, Genesis to Revelations, is so that people would stop arguing over a book they've never read. It never ceases to amaze me, the people that will fight tooth and nail over a book they have not read. I don't care if grandpa and grandma taught you from it. You haven't read it. And if you had to find the scripture where it was at, you really couldn't find it. And then the reality, some of us are quoting scriptures that we've been taught as little children, and it's not in there. But at the end of the day, if we understand the energy that was behind King James when he had the Bible translated and why he created the Church of England, it all revolved around him wanting a divorce. Now, you fill in the blanks for everybody that wants to fight that to the grave. So at the end of the day, it behooves, and let me say that goes back to some of the most painful thing you'll ever do, because listen, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm a lover of the Bible, grew up a lover of the Bible, would fight to the death and defend the Bible, but I also had to painfully open my eyes to the truth of the Bible and the background and the history and the energy and the control and the manipulation and all of that also goes along with that. And that comes from spiritual growth. At some point, you have to be willing to keep an open mind and expand your thought processes. Absolutely, Dalen. And that's the truth makes you free. If you want to be free, because I'm going to tell you what, there are a lot of people that are trying to live in the constructs of the Bible, and the Bible has them in bondage and they can't figure it out. But it was designed to have them in bondage because they needed slaves. I said what I said. It was intended to keep you in some level of bondage because it was intended for slaves. People have piecemealed and embedded theology. Come on, Kim Possible. You better talk that talk. And I'm hoping that at some point, Kim, I would love to have you join me in the stream. Consider this an open invitation, Dr. Dady, because these are some topics I want us to really talk about, because a lot of this misinformation stops and blocks people's flow. Do I think the heart and the spirit of what is contained, the love of God, I believe that with all my heart. I believe God loves me more than there are words. The King James Version of the Bible was created out of hubris, and that's true too, Dalen. Yes, Kim, I would love it. I would love it. Because these are some discussions that we need to unravel this tangled web. Oh, what tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. I haven't heard that forever, but that just popped right back up in my memory from childhood. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. We've created such a deception and called it church and religion and the Bible, that it's a tangled web that we really need to untangle, because the people's minds are tangled. And please believe that this group that's doing all this dastardly behavior in the country right now, they believe that they are doing this under God. Now explain it to me, Lucy. I can't understand it. It's their twisted understanding of this twisted Bible that they've created, but they believe they're doing this stuff in the energy and the mandates of God, and that's even more crazy. Translations are history and humanity handled, so we must know how to hear God in our spirit. Come on, Jazzy. Come on. I appreciate you for that. Absolutely. And some of the history's been manipulated. I will say that, and we can see that even as it's definitely a small g energy. Yes, Dalen. Please, and you'll find this, and this is one of the things that I keep mentioning and referring to this book of African history and African spirituality. I love it. I love it. I love it because it does give retold and corrected accounts based on facts and not what was written in oral traditions. Because every time you had conquerors coming in, they wanted to reframe that story, and they would tell it in their favor and from their perspective. And so the truth would not be told. Same thing that we see here. Yeah, you'll love it, Kim. You'll love it. The same thing that you see going on here in this country. Why do they want to take Black history and everything about us out of the schools? Because they're retelling another version of our history that is not correct and it's not accurate. We see that happening in our lifetime. There's nothing new under the sun. This is the same thing that has been going on from generation to generation to generation. Trump and them didn't just come up with this. This isn't something that just popped up out of the blue with these white supremacists and these Christian nationalists. This has been going on for centuries. It just happens to be our turn. And so understand the same candy bar, different wrapper. But it's the same candy bar. It hasn't changed. You want the Ethiopian Bible? Or this is not a Bible, and it's not, when it talks about spiritual warfare. And this is one thing that I want to say. It's not like church people in Christianity when they say Christian warfare. Because one of the things that they point out, African spirituality was not aggressive. Okay? African spirituality was not, they did not fight. They weren't out there killing folk and all of that. That is a whole different element. And they even start to address when that came into play. But African spirituality is not violent. So this is, the spiritual warriors are healers. I can put this out so you all can get, and the thing I love about it, he goes through and does a great job in his explanations and definitions and all of that. The Bible that I showed was the Ethiopian, which I've talked about this before. They're not that smart to be deceitful, but they are deceitful. I've talked about the fact that the Ethiopian Bible has always been understood even more so than the Septuagint to have been one of the oldest Bibles known to man. And it is under lock and key somewhere where no one has access to it. However, these are the books that people have taken and get. Yes, thank you, Dalen. Thank you for I appreciate you that. And that first word is pronounced Mfundishi. Mfundishi. That's his Mfundishi, and that's actually a title, but nonetheless, Mfundishi. So this is the Ethiopian Bible, Mary, and MCP 812. And again, that Bible, the Ethiopian Bible, is the oldest. And at the end of the day, there's so much that could be said. I think the original is at the Ethiopian Coptic Church in Ethiopia. Thank you, Kim Possible. Thank you. So this is an awareness, especially for people of color, to come into knowing that there are certain areas that we have been led and or misled to keep us in bondage. And that takes nothing away from the power of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I hope that we can mature and develop to the level and rightly divide the word of truth and rightly divide the word of lies whenever they come up. So at the end of the day, or the energy from whence they come. And yes, there's culture involved. There's history involved. All of those things are involved. I am so happy about the fact that, again, when you begin to study African spirituality, it is not warlike and it is not aggressive in nature at all. And I believe that. All right. Now, I'm going to close with this. Sponsored Asher Wilson, the complete. Yes, that's the Ethiopian Bible. That's the one I have. And so there are more people that are coming out with versions of the Ethiopian Bible because a lot of people are starting to come into the awareness about the King James Version and the reality that the Ethiopian Bible is the oldest Bible out there. And so people are now asking questions and they're reaching out for it. So people are putting the Bible out. I went with Asher Wilson because his was a little bit different than some of the others where it maybe was not as technical, and that's okay. But I like to have just regular talk and vernacular is okay, but I like to have more of a scholarly element to it because, you know, it's almost like all the preachers that are running around the pulpit today, and most of them have no scholarship whatsoever, and they get up and give their interpretations and make up stuff and this and that and the other. While I don't take away from them being quote unquote called, I do address the fact that if you haven't been trained and don't have understanding and knowledge, you will not rightly divide the word of truth, because some of the things you don't even understand what the words mean and you up preaching one thing. So I like to have somebody that has some general scholarship in the area, and that's why I went with Asher Wilson, because he does have the scholarship. But you'll find that there are other Ethiopian Bibles out there. Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up to Black America, Ron Dalton. I'm pulling that down so I can see it. It's also an amazing read. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Dalen. I appreciate Hebrews and Negroes, Wake Up Black America. Ronald Dalton is an amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Now, so I told you flow, and I know I've said a lot, and I know I need to be getting out of here. I hope I've said something to spur and spark your mind. I want you to reach for your excellence. Don't settle for anything less. Don't settle for any. When I say study to shew thyself approved, I'm not just talking about the 66 books of the Bible. I'm talking about anything and everything. And remember, I included, if you don't understand everything about yourself and you're not trained and you don't have the professional wherewithal about understanding your own mental and emotional health, study to show thyself approved unto God. Get you a therapist. Get that therapist to help you study and work through you. And I mean that with all my heart. You need to do whatever you need to do. Say that if they really are called, they would want to be educated so that they can fulfill their call more effectively. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. I do understand some have financial, whatever their reasons are. But at the end of the day, anybody can be studied, and I'm not talking about just you, but you can go places. They got so many resources available now. There's no reason for everybody needs a licensed therapist. And that's the truth. We were not raised necessarily in a culture that believed in therapy, but listen, trauma. When you see my intro and I talk about epigenetics, and you may not, yes, YouTube University is golden. Thank you for that, Dr. Dady. You may not understand everything that's on my intro and why I chose that for my intro. You'll see something about epigenetics. And epigenetics is the area that we've studied and understand that trauma can be genetically passed. And for us as Black people and people of color, especially everybody, but Black people and people of color, thank you so much for the biddies, tall pumps. I appreciate that. There's so much love to you, sis. Epigenetics has taught us and proven and shown. Thank you so much for the biddies, Kim Possible 711. I appreciate you. Has shown that trauma can be genetically passed. So that means I'm carrying mama's trauma genetically passed to me. I'm carrying daddy's trauma. I'm carrying grandma's trauma. And you're passing it on to your kids and Epigenetics. We need to understand and talk about epigenetics. The power is what Kim Possible 711 said earlier. The brain can be rewired. Neurotransmitters and neural pathways can be rewired and reran. But some of that is only going to be done through some therapy. I said what I said. Because some of it, you are not proficient and capable enough to do it on your own in a healthy way. So these are areas where we talk about Jazzy Mimi. Thank you. So, y'all done started a hype train. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for your giving. This is what I want us, because we keep doing the same things over and over again. And what did somebody said, there goes the hype train. I didn't even know. Uh-oh. Let me find the speaker on that. And Lord Jesus, I can't find it. Where in the world? Oh Lord, I don't know how long that's gonna run, y'all. One reason I need some help. I think it's in my Streamlabs. It must be in my Streamlabs, y'all. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't find that. I can't find that. It's not in my channel. It's not in my studio. I appreciate y'all. One reason, Kim Possible. I'm gonna have to find that one before the next stream. Cause listen, y'all, I think it's in my Streamlabs. Check OBS. I'm in OBS and it's not out here. I'm not finding it. Lord Jesus. And I don't have Streamlabs open. That's why I said it must be in Streamlabs. All right. Well, you wanted to check the sound on that. Shelly Thunder. This is a hot mess. Okay, y'all. Thank you for bearing with me on that hype train, because I'm telling you, I hope level 2 doesn't have sounders. We in trouble. I appreciate. Thank you for giving. Come on, I appreciate everybody that's giving. Let me see what I got. I've been hunting, trying to find. I don't want to miss those that gave. Jazzy Mimi, Dalen 628. Thank you all. Oh my goodness, y'all are really showing out and showing up. I appreciate you. Tall Pumps, I appreciate you. Oh Lord, today, thank you, Kim Possible. I appreciate you, Jazzy. You all, I thank you so much, and to everybody that resubscribed, and y'all, thank you for your patience. Cause one reason I'm gonna have to track that down and find it, but I couldn't find it in OBS. So my apologies. But thank you for your gift and your giving. Thank you, Dr. Dady Priest. I appreciate you for giving. Now, and we're building something. We are building something. All right. Now, again, the goal here is to become the best that we can be, and to walk into the excellence that we are designed and created to walk in. I believe that with all my heart. I believe that we're created for excellence. I believe that, I don't know about you, but I want to model something to the generations behind me. I want to model something that will give them something to reach up and aspire for. I want to set a bar and a standard that makes them stand up straight and say, I can attain that, and I can. And listen, this is my thing. I don't want them just to attain this level. I want them to go so much farther. But I at least want to model something that will be something worth them pressing for the mark. All right. Now, I said your power is in the flow. And then this is what Kim Possible 711 sent to me. And it talks about different areas of the body and movement. And I told you, I was talking about there was an experiment they were doing, and they were showing how much power and energy your hands, even when you rub them together, there's still energy when you pull them apart, but still keep them close together. There's energy that's constantly still going. Those molecules are still just going. And they talked about how much energy is created just from that. If you're not aware, we are just energy walking. Our bodies are energy walking. Everything about us is energy. Matter matters, as I say. So when we start understanding how all of this comes together, and again, Institute for Higher Consciousness, you all remember when we talked about the elements, and how all of our body systems all operate together in under all these different elements. I want to appreciate Kim for sending this to us. It's talking about when you have, these are things that block your flow. And when you get caught in these areas, it talks and walks you through how to relieve and release some of this from the body. Now, again, as I said, somebody's going to be all day up there doing that new age stuff. This is not new age stuff. These are, and again, this is why I hope people can expand their minds to understand the energy and everything else that is going on in your body. And that's real talk. Static electricity, you walk across the carpet and you touch something in it, because that energy is transferring in your body, because your body transfers energy. Kim shared this, and I wanted to share this with you all today. And it talks about movement to be able to get certain things out of your body. It's going to move a little, feel lighter. Some of you need to move. Can I say this, especially to folks that have gone through deep depression? One of the things that commonly happens is you slow your movement. All of a sudden, you don't feel like getting up. You don't feel like moving around. You don't feel like, your movement almost comes to a dead standstill. Little to no movement at all. But I want you, even in looking at this video, I wanted to share, because I said, your wealth, your real wealth is your health. Your real wealth is your health. And once you've lost your health, you can have all the money in the world. It means nothing. So I appreciate Kim. And for those that, find this problematic, like my dad used to say about eating fish, eat the meat, throw away the bones. So if this is bones for you, so be it. But I thought this might help someone else when you talk about movement of the body and releasing, and all of these would be considered blocks to the flow in your body. So I want to play this. And Kim Possible, 7-Eleven, thank you for this. I appreciate you, sis. All right, let's see.
It's in the uterus, so open the hips. Stress accumulates in the shoulders and neck, so open the shoulders. Depression accumulates in the chest, so open the chest. Frustration and entanglement accumulate in the stomach, so twist the waist. Emotional stress accumulates in the back, so bend backward. Anger accumulates in the uterus, so open the hips. Stress accumulates in the shoulders and neck, so open the shoulders. Depression accumulates in the chest, so open the chest. Frustration and entanglement accumulate in the stomach, so twist the waist. Emotional stress accumulates in the back, so bend backward. Anger.
So as you can see, that's a very simple, all you need is a wall. You did yoga with puppies last Sunday. This is how you close the session. Awesome. Awesome. Come on, MCP 812. This is great info. As a matter of fact, what I'll do is repost it so that you all in my Discord can see it. And again, I want to, and can I play it one more time? Because I really feel like it's worth the understanding. And I appreciate those of you that are commenting, because this is really good. So many times there's simple things that we can do to help heal ourselves, to help ourselves to feel better, do better, and things that you actually follow this lady. Come on, Jazzy. And so, I want to be a place where you can find information and find resources to bring yourself to that next level. That's what I want you to be undamned. I want you to be undamned. As we were saying, I'll be undamned. I want you to be undamned and in a full flow. Anything that's damming you up, I want you to deal with it. Let's start first and foremost with our health. I want you well. I want you at your absolute optimum, whatever that is for you. Everybody's at different levels. We're all individuals, but I want you to be at your absolute optimum. I want you to treat your bodies like the temple that it is. I want you to give it the importance that it needs. I want you to give it the attention that it needs. I want you to give it the love that it needs, the pampering that it needs. I want you to do all of that. I was one day, maybe a couple of months ago, I was just, messing around doing whatever. And I all of a sudden, I noticed and I looked at I was in the bathtub enjoying oh my God, just enjoying that bubble bath. And I looked at my hands and I looked at them being wrinkled. And so I'm at that point where I'm asking all kind of questions to myself, it's just for my own. And I was like, why does my skin wrinkle when I get in the water? Why does skin wrinkle? And there's a whole list of how it happens and why it happens. But ultimately, it also is an adaptation that the body has done. So when it's in water where it would be slippery, it can actually grip better. So the hands can grip better, the feet can grip better. And then to go through the whole entire process of how the body expands and whatnot, the skin begins. It's just absolutely amazing. But I was just laying in the water and I was just enjoying myself. And I was like, why does the skin wrinkle? I want to understand that. And when I actually read it, I was like, the body is absolutely amazing. Well, while I was engrossed in that, it occurred to me, and it was like, the largest organ that you have is your skin. If anybody didn't realize that, your integral system, your skin is actually the largest organ that you have. And I began to look at myself. And while I was in the tub, I was like, this skin has served me for 6+ decades. And I know it regenerates and renews after every so many, whatever. But then I said, sometimes we'll, for our face or whatever, we might do. But I just stopped to appreciate the organ that is called skin and how it has so effectively served me, and appreciate it. And it was like, I've not really given myself to pampering all of my skin. And I was like, shut up. I mean, pampering it and appreciating, doing something extra, absolutely understanding how intricately it is developed and gone through adaptations to make this and that possible for me. And I had a whole different appreciation just for skin, because I'm in a don't take anything for granted state of thinking. Don't just use it, and for me, misuse it. Cause I'm hard on my skin. I know I am. I'm just, my skin is like, remember me? Do you remember me? No, I'm hard on my skin because I do little everything. But I had to really stop and say, let me appreciate. Why? Because the largest organ on my body needs health too. So I want you to just think about, and that's me. For you, it may be something else, but just think about your body and what do you give it? How do you nurture it? How do you love on it? How do you pamper it? How do you give it the attention that it needs? Most of us barely give it enough rest, much less any additional attention on top of that. I've created a skincare, girl, shut up, Jazzy. I've created a skincare line based on those type of studies, and it's amazing how quickly what we expose our skin to enters our bloodstream. It absorbs it right up. Yes, Jazzy. Come on, put your information somewhere where we can, because listen, I am a person that, matter of fact, I started to wear a shirt tonight from The Rebel. This is, let me come back on regular screen. Well, let me show this one more time.
Accumulates in the uterus, so open the hips. Stress accumulates in the shoulders and neck, so open the shoulders. Depression accumulates in the chest, so open the chest. Frustration and entanglement accumulate in the stomach, so twist the waist. Emotional stress accumulates in the back, so bend backward. Anger accumulates.
See, you can find you, all you need is a wall, and you can do everything that woman just did. You can do everything that woman, nothing for granted. I've really been into nurturing this temple, and I hope that that's your wealth. That is your wealth, MCP82. And that's what I'm saying. When I put power and wealth, and I know we think of all kinds of things, I'm talking about flow and your health. Flow and your health. And Jazzy Mimi, put your information in because I support everybody. This is a book that Ronzi, I don't know how many of you know Ronzi. I try to buy anything and everything. One Reason has a Busy Billy is a great children's book. I don't have any children, but I have it on hand. And when my great nieces and nephews come, I will be reading Busy Billy to them. When people have, Dr. Dady has a business. I want all the streamers, please put your streamer information in because we want to follow you. And whatever, Jazzy Mimi, I want us to be able to come on. We don't throw shade. We shed light. So I've always had sensitive skin and had to be cautious about its care. Never worn makeup. Don't put perfumes on. I have to make sure. It jumped up on me. Have to make sure to use mask and moisturize my skin. Good for you, Dr. Dady. Listen, I try to support because we can't make it if we don't support. And that I'm going to get into the economic part of it at some point in time. That just wasn't set up for tonight because, oh yeah. Okay. So I need to allow links. Dalen, is that something? Do I have to do that? Jazzy Mimi, it won't let you link. Okay, there you go. There you go. Thank you. Okay. You can leave contact information even though it's under, and I'll have that link so that you guys can get in and probably need a moderator to add links or whatever. Shelly Thunder, I don't know if you're still here or not, but I don't know if you're able to add her link or not because I'm cool with that. Oh, Shade wasn't add. No worries. No worries. Okay. So at the end of the day, I want us to have power, and this is just an intro tonight, and I want us to have wealth, and I want us to understand that it's not just the materialism, and it's not the world's way of looking at it. I want you to commission yourself to be the best person that you can be and find your fullest power. Find your fullest power and operate in it. Wilt thou be made whole? And I hope your answer is yes. Thank you so much, Shelley. I hope your answer is yes. And because you can be made whole. God wants us to be made whole. And the only way we're going to fix and be a part of the healing of this earth as we know it is that we're going to have to start moving into our power, into our authority, into our dominion, because the earth is groaning, waiting for the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God. I do believe that. And until we manifest with that same African spirituality that we had in the beginning, I love you too, Dr. Dady. Until we manifest some of that, we're just going to continue to see this downward spiral. But I believe this is our finest hour. I do believe that with all my heart. This is our finest hour, and I believe this is our time to shine in the darkest dark of the world. I appreciate you all for joining me. I've definitely enjoyed having you here. I've enjoyed you all sharing conversation with me on tonight. Power and wealth. Power and wealth. You have the power to be made whole. You do. And you just need to undam yourself, find every area and deal with it. I love you with the love of the Lord. I really, really do. And I hope that you've enjoyed tonight's Chop House. Now, as I said, the format is definitely, you can ask questions, you can do topics. I definitely want to have Dr. Dady. I definitely want to have Kim Possible 711. I really want to unpack because I shot this video to one reason, because I knew he could deal with it without coming unglued. I don't share everything with everybody, especially as it deals with religion and church and so on, because everybody can't handle it. And I don't want to choke anybody. I don't want anyone to become confused and, any of that. But at the same time, there's a lot of questions to be answered in these days and times, and a lot of understanding that we need to come into. And so with that, we'll be doing some of that. And I think Kim Possible 711 is a great person to have on as well to really help unravel some of the tangled web that we've created and called it Christianity, or even church or faith. It doesn't just have to be the Christian faith, but my experience, I have been an interfaith, and I am interfaith here in our city, one of the core chairmen of the Interfaith Council here, Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. And I've enjoyed learning about other faith groups, other thoughts, other thought processes. I appreciate Mert coming on and the exposure to atheism and agnosticism. Everything is welcome here. Everyone is welcome here. Conversation is welcome here, and this is a safe space. All right. I appreciate you all. It's time for me to get up out of here. I love you. I love you. I love you. We'll be back. And please hit that. I want you to hit your notification button so you can know when I'm coming on, because I may not be exactly on the same time every single time. I'm going to try to come on as often as I can, but that notification button will let you know when I'm actually coming on. If you would do that, that would be a tremendous help so you can know what's going on. It's time to get up out of here. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves. And here we go. To my black fam, I love you. To every race, creed, and color fam, I love you. To my same gender loving fam, I love you. To my trans fam, I love you. To my Christian fam, I love you. To every other faith-based fam, I love you. To my atheist fam, I love you. To my spectrum fam, I love you. To my plus-sized fam, I love you. To my skinny fam, I love you. Everybody is fam, and I love you. Peace for your journey.